Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at an amazing team with Hyper Beam Diggersby. I went 12-3 with this team, getting me very close to Legend now as well. Around like 2,900 and I think 10 or something I ended up with this team. And I can highly recommend it. Here we're actually going to be able to catch immediately a move onto our Saysop here, which is going to be the Diggersby. It is very important to Saysop the Diggersby in this team, and in general, Saysop this Pokemon here. As you're going to see here, the Hyper Beam is coming through, going to get some damage onto the MEWeedle and forces them to throw. But we have an ABB line again, so we're going to have to keep our lead alive to counter those counter users, those fighting type Pokemon, with the Pelipper, as well as for a Pokemon like the Swampert. It's very important to have the Pelipper still around. So, Saysop for this team is of course the quick attack variant of the Diggersby here, as this is going to be very cool in a lot of scenarios. You're going to see it here as well. We're going to have a horrible lead against us. Lantern in the lead. We're going to be able to swap out into our Diggersby, and in comes a MEWeedle, allowing us now to go ahead and go for another Hyper Beam against them, but also just in general gonna get out a Pokemon that I don't want to face with my Pokemon in the back, which of course going to be my Galarian Stunfisk. We're going to be able to get a shield here, which is actually totally fine, as the opponent also throws some energy at me, allowing me to go back into my Pelipper and also allowing me to have a fairly decent matchup here right now, as I can go for one charge move here, trying to force the opponent to use another shield, but no, of course they do not. But it's more important for me to have some energy on my Pelipper than the knockout here right now, as the opponent going to make a huge mistake. They're going to lock themselves into the matchup against the Galarian Stunfisk. And here, for me, as a Galarian Stunfisk, it's a very easy task to just go ahead and use all my shields possible. And usually, people know me, I'm baiting a lot of times, but not this time around. I'm just gonna go straight for the Earthquake and gonna get a ton of damage onto them and get a perfect farm down. Like this, I can realign. I'm gonna get out the opponent's MEWeedle, and I'm gonna get a ton of energy right now. And you know already, we still have some energy on our Pelipper. And as soon as we're gonna get some damage onto the opponent here, which we do immediately with one Earthquake, again, no bait by me, I will be able to now get the shield from the opponent, also swap out immediately and go for the Weather Ball to knock out the opponent's Sableye. And this will win us the game after a horrible lead as well as a horrible Saysop. We were still able to come back. Just also, like, the matchup in the back wouldn't be really that favorable for us as well. Like, we had a Lantern in the lead against our Pelipper, we had a MEWeedle against our Diggersby, and also still the Sableye against our Galarian Stunfisk, and we still were able to come back with this team, which is just very cool. It was just because of the one advantage there, the shield advantage with our MEWeedle against the MEWeedle there. Here we're going to now have the Galarian Stunfisk against us. We were able to catch a move, but my opponent makes a great play by trying to get more energy for the matchup later on. But they did not realize that I actually run Hyper Beam, and this is all we really need to do a ton of damage against the opponent's Altaria here. You're going to see so many beams land today, it is wild. Some people were actually predicting this, some were not, but here we're going to now have the option to still go for another Fire Punch against the opponent, as this is going to now go ahead and get them fairly low, and we force them to throw again. So we got a shield, we got a ton of damage onto the opponent, we're gonna get the opportunity here now to get a ton of energy onto our Galarian Stunfisk, and they didn't even have energy at the end. Of course, it's kind of unfortunate right now that the opponent's still going to have their MEWeedle here, but I still will be able to go into my Pelipper, shield up the move from the opponent. They're literally at the rock side, so I can go at least for 3. This is the safest play for me. If they had like basically a CMP there and shield up the move, it would have been also okay for me, but like this, the opponent's MEWeedle is still available, and they're going to forfeit here as they know that they have no chance to really knock me out. Next opponent, we're going to have another MEWeedle against us, as we're going to now get out the Registeel. And here I was a little bit too clunky first, and also I made a mistake. I should have went for one Weather Ball first, because if I went for a Weather Ball, I would have been able to get the opponent into range for just one Earthquake. And this is something that you can then realize basically, or like know afterwards, like when you play the team a little bit. Of course, now I would do it different with the knowledge that I have now, but like this matchup, because the opponent went twice for the bait and twice got the debuff, is going to be a little bit different. As you're going to see right now, they're going to go for another bait and they're going to get another debuff here against me. And this is going to allow them now to survive the Earthquake. And honestly, at the end of the day, maybe I actually shouldn't have thrown the move either way, because the likelihood of them going twice for a bait, twice getting the, twice getting the debuff there on me, it's just so unrealistic, but here it was enough for us to lose the game, which is kind of wild, but still a good game to the opponent. Great play, did exactly what they were supposed to do it in order to have a chance of winning this game, but the likelihood of this happening is so low, but it's still fine. We're going to have an Azumarill against us here. I have, like, with Azumarill, I really have to hope that they're not running Hydro Pump on this Pokemon, and I'm gonna definitely bank on this, as you can see here right now. I'm just gonna be in my Galarian Stunfisk, and this Pokemon will have a great time here. Going to go for the Rock Slide, because with Rock Slide, I should be able to still go at least for 2 more fast moves and maybe end up with a little bit less health, so the opponent's Surf Edge cannot knock me out either, and still should be able to be 2 fast moves away from the Rock Slide to do at least some damage against them. This damage can come in handy, but I doubt it will, because I am forced to throw a charge move soon as well. I know that they're going to win CMP, that's why I didn't go straight for my own one. I know that they're going to be at 1 after like 1 or 2 more fast moves, so I'm going to go straight for my Weather Ball here. And we're going to get out the Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and my opponent decides to immediately forfeit after seeing my Diggersby. Diggersby is still such a strong Pokemon here. Next opponent, Sableye in the lead. This is going to be also interesting. We're going to now stay in for a little bit, but you kind of want to not really get too much damage onto your Pelipper. Again, this is an ABB line. Pelipper is your anti-fighter user, so you kind of want to keep this Pokemon around. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go for 1 charge move. We're going to be able to get them fairly low, and then we're going to catch the move onto our Diggersby. Diggersby does not care about any charge move. You see already, it doesn't do too much damage, and we're going to get out the Noctowl. And one question, do they know? I'm not sure if they know. Let's find out together. We can go ahead and go up for 1 Hyper Beam here, and 1 Hyper Beam is coming through. This is going to go through, and no, they're going to actually shield up the move here, which is really unfortunate. Great play by the opponent here, as we're going to see that we can now go into our Galarian Stunfisk, as we can now keep this energy, keep the move, going to let this move go through. But it's going to be a little bit of a scary one, because we don't know what they have in the back there, and we know, of course, the Sableye is still there. But here we're going to still try to catch the opponent off guard by going for 1 Weather Ball. They're going to let this move go through. And luckily, they're going to tell me something here right now. They're going to tell me that they seem to be weak against me in the back. And so, as you're going to see here, the Sableye coming in and seeing the shield coming through, I'm going to decide to shield up my Pelipper on the off chance that there's a Medicham in the back, and I was right. And this was winning us the game here right now. Recognizing that the opponent has a fighter in the back, still has something in the back that's weak to Pelipper, really helped us out here, as Pelipper was able to sweep endgame here, which was really nice. Next opponent, Sandslash, one of the worst Pokemon to face for this team. It's a very tricky one, but luckily they're going to have the Altaria in the back, which is, of course, as a Hyper Beam variant with Quick Attack as a fast move, a fairly decent matchup here. It is so funny, because like everybody thinks, okay, yeah, Diggersby, this Pokemon is a very bulky ground type Pokemon, usually runs a Mudshot Earthquake. No, it also has a normal type coverage move here, and it definitely does a ton of damage against the opponent. Also forces a shield here, which is really cool, as we can go back into our Pelipper, allowing us to farm them all the way down. And in comes now again the Sandslash. But like this, you're going to be prepared, because you have more energy than the opponent. And like this, we're going to be able to go for some charge moves against the opponent as well, as we can go for another Weather Ball eventually, but they're going to swap out perfectly into the Azumarill. Great play by the opponent here. Very great play there. Very nice catch by the opponent, as we are now forced to go for the Hurricane onto the CMP tie. And at this point of time, I have 1 goal here. I have to hope that the opponent doesn't run Hydro Pump. And I also have to hope that I'm going to get a ton of energy here. And this is exactly what I'm going to try to do here. You're going to see me not throw the energy anywhere close to like the Earthquake or whatever. I'm just going to let everything go through and try to go up to 100 energy. Go for the Rock Slide here right now. And this should hopefully knock out the opponent's Azumarill, and it does. And like this, I'm going to have a ton of energy left here, and I will be able to go for the first Rock Slide, and hopefully I can reach another one. We see that the opponent goes for a charge move. Are they at 2 though? Like, that's going to be interesting. Do they have 2 moves stored? No, they do not. And we will be able to go ahead and go for another charge move here, which will be amazing. So, next opponent, let's take a look what they're going to have. Lantern in the lead. Again, a horrible lead for us. We swap out immediately into our Diggersby, as you're going to see that they're going to stay in here and go for 1 Surf. I'm going to be forced to let this move go through, as we're going to be able to still survive it. And this is one of the players where they remembered that this Pokemon learns Hyper Beam sadly, and they're going to shield this move up. But still, we're going to be in an advantage right now. We're going to have our Diggersby getting a shield advantage against the opponent's Gliscor. and I take this shield advantage here, because our Galarian Stunfisk in the back might have a great time with this advantage. I am basically forced to no-shield anything here, because there is no way in hell that I'm gonna give up this one advantage that I have here after losing lead with the worst possible Pokemon ever. And as you're going to see right now, I can swap out immediately into my Galarian Stunfisk as the opponent swaps back into the Sableye. I will be able to go for one Rock Slide, and this Rock Slide is coming through here doing some decent amount of damage. Not enough though to knock them out or anything like this, of course. But they're gonna go for a foul play. I'm going to try to bait them again. I'm kind of forced to bait them here right now. Hopefully they're going to let this move go through, and they do not. They're going to shield this move up here, which is also fine for us, as we're now going to be able to use our shields as you're going to see right now against the opponent's Sableye, and hope that they're going to swap out eventually into their Lantern, as they kind of have to, but not here right now. I'm still gonna get to the Rock Side here, and I only need 2 more fast moves for the Lantern, and they're gonna swap into it, and I will be able to reach the charge move in time. But this is not going to do enough damage against the opponent. I'm still forced to go into my Pelipper, and the opponent gets to another charge move here. But this is only the Surf, allowing us to survive this move, allowing us to go for a charge move of our own. The Weather Ball is coming through, going to get the knockout, and in comes now the Sableye, which is gonna get farmed out by the Pelipper. Good game there. Next opponent, we're going to have the Deoxys defense here. This is going to be an interesting matchup again, as you're going to swap out into the Diggersby. Diggersby mainly does not want to face the counter damage from the Deoxys, but is totally fine with the charge move, so that's why we swapped out there after getting some energy with my lead there. You don't want to get hit by a Rock Slide or the Thunderbolt onto your Pelipper, but here we were able to hit a Hyper Beam against the opponent's Noctowl, as we can go ahead and go for the Fire Punch. This is going to get the shield from the opponent, and the opponent is really forced to basically keep this Pokemon alive. But as you're going to see right now, the cool thing about Diggersby is, if you're going to have the Hyper Beam plus Quick Attack, you're actually going to be able to flip the Noctowl matchup entirely. And that's not all. We can still go for a Fire Punch against the opponent's Sableye, allowing us to get some more damage onto them, getting them closer as well for a move of my Pelipper. I try to maybe trick them that we have Hurricane, but we don't. But as you can see here, the opponent goes into Deoxys. I go for 2 more fast moves, because this is the safest play, that they don't get to another Thunderbolt. And like this, the opponent going to forfeit here, as they know already there is nothing they can do. Next opponent, very decent lead for us, but actually I'm fairly certain that they win this in the 2-shield scenario here, as a Dragon Claw gonna get us fairly low here, as we're gonna be able to go for the Water Ball at least, trying to get some damage onto them, and as they're going to shield up this move, I'm going to swap out, but sadly they're going to swap out as well, and they're gonna go into a into a Quagsire, of course. Shadow Quagsire here. Do they know about it? This is the question. Do you know about it? We will find out. Boom! They do not know about it. Another Hyper Beam landing here, as we will be able to go ahead and now farm them all the way down. Like, I have no idea how many Hyper Beams we were able to land this video today. It is absolutely wild how strong this Pokemon is. And as you're going to see here, the Dragon Claws coming through from the opponent, we can go ahead and go into our Galarian Stunfisk. And I'm fairly certain this is not a Blast Burn, it's just a Dragon Claw. And this was actually a very crucial one for me, as they're going to run what's called a Swampert in the back. And I definitely kind of want to keep my shields around, as I'm still going for the Hurricane here in order to knock them out. And as you're going to see, the opponent gonna go for the Hydro Cannon. I can go for the Hurricane, but they're going to not even allow me to get this damage out there, because they're going to forfeit prior. Next opponent. Very bad lead for me, to be fair. This is kind of a core breaker. A Pokemon that I actually rarely see nowadays. I'm not sure why Ninetales is so gone from the meta, but here we're still going to be able to go for one Weather Ball. Honestly, why is Ninetales gone? Like, what happened to Ninetales? I guess alone Sandslash? That, I don't know. But yeah, here we're going to see that we're going to swap into the Diggersby, getting out the opponent's Quagsire here. As they go for the Mud Bomb spam, I can go for the Hyper Beam again. And of course, you know already, Hyper Beam is my best friend, and Hyper Beam gonna do a ton of damage against the opponent here, as this is coming through. Going to do a lot of damage here, and we can now see that we can farm them all the way down, getting a ton of energy as well. And as you know already, we see the alone Ninetales from the opponent. They're going to be weak against the Fire Punch. And let's see what they're gonna go into, because they cannot really go into that Pokemon. And they're gonna go into their Medicham. One Hyper Beam is already nice, right? But how about 2? The opponent just didn't learn from it, gonna get hit by another one, Gonna go into the Ninetales. We can still go for one Weather Ball here, which is gonna get the shield from the opponent, as we can swap into our Galarian Stunfisk, farm them all the way down. We don't have to shield here, and this is looking so good for us right now. After a very bad lead for us, we were still able to now come back, even though they have a Medicham still in the back lurking for our Galarian Stunfisk and our Diggersby. They're going to forfeit this game, knowing that there was nothing they can do. Next game, last game for today, Frosters lead. Against Frosters, you are forced to stay in here. There is nothing that you can do about this Pokemon. With the backline really, of course, Galarian Stunfisk can do something, but you don't want to swap into this Pokemon yet. So you kinda have the best bet here of staying in with the Pelipper, going for the Weather Ball, trying to, of course, bait the Hurricane first, so maybe you can get some shields. But like this, I'm at least going to be able to get some damage onto the opponent. I feel like, because the Weather Ball hit, I should be able to farm down now. But the opponent, of course, going to swap out here now into the Quagsire, allowing me though to go for one Hurricane. And this should hopefully knock them out here, as they're going to shield this move up, allowing me to swap out. And I'm fairly certain they clicked on the Stone Edge, and they got just refunded there again, because you saw like the small, hiccup from the Quagsire where it just didn't go for a fast move for a little bit. Fairly certain they tried to go for the Stone Edge and it just didn't go through. So here they really got saved by it. I'm fairly certain I was able to catch the move, but yeah, they're going to get saved by being able to go for the Mud Bombs. Doesn't really matter, because they're not safe from one Hyper Beam. So goodbye their Quagsire, as is in comes here right now the Medicham. We can still go ahead and go for one Fire Punch at least, which is gonna get them a little bit lower, which is totally fine. As you're going to see me making a really weird play. I'm gonna go for the Galarian Stunfisk here. Main reason is I know that I would be in range for one Psychic onto my other Pokemon, so I kinda want to go ahead and see what the opponent gonna do here. They're going to swap out. I am forced to go for a charge move here against the opponent, as they are most likely be able to get to the Avalanche in time otherwise. So like this, the opponent has to go for one Psychic here, and I will get to the Earthquake, and I just need one more Rock Slide to finish up this game. And honestly, this was one of the most fun days that I had in ages for the Go Battle League, just because of Hyper Beam Diggersby. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.